Hello everyone and good morning. Look at me, I got my glasses on. Look at that. They're fake. It's okay. I'm talking about getting started as a professional designer in this wonderful world, excuse me, that we have today. So it's good to have you here as a professional. Look, oh, it's I miss me that professional. Yeah, the reason I wore this is, again, I was kind of thinking if I was an art director showing up at the office, like, what would my look be? So essentially I have this shirt has skulls on it, which is really cool, and I designed the tie myself. So it's all very much designery, and yeah, I even wore pants today. It's a whole thing. I wore pants. What I mean by that is I'm not wearing shorts. So, all right. Good to have you here. Hopefully everything isn't too choppy, and thanks for joining me today. This will be fun. And again, my name is Paul Tranny. We're going to dive into everything, sort of like everything you kind of need to keep in mind, even if you are working as a professional designer, just all the things that you need to kind of keep in mind to have a successful career. So yeah, I'm so serious today. I got my tie on. I mean business. So let's do this. Michelle, I want to give you guys a warm welcome. Anthony, good to have you here. I'll switch over the schedule really fast as well. Tim, always good to see you, my friend. Oh, yes. So yeah, you have me for about 90 minutes. It's going to be really good. We're going to dive into like everything you need to know. And you'll think you have most things. Hopefully you have everything mapped out that I talk about today. And honestly, it's like there's not one part of your online life that doesn't need to be refreshed, to be honest with you. But after me, we have the wonderful Kathleen Martin doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, a little photo retouching as well with Pierre for 2 hours, which is cool. Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge as well, which will be cool. And we do these to build your portfolio, which is a key component for your, your professional design, your portfolio. This is a key piece. Package design this afternoon. XD Daily Creative Challenge, little design off just for fun. And yeah, I'm grabbing 2 copies. Thank you. It's gonna be a party. Let's do this. So we'll dive into this right now, but that's the schedule. A bunch of rock stars today. It's gonna be a good day, and I'm so happy you're here. Hopefully everybody is safe and washing their hands and caffeinated. And let's dive into this. And let's kind of just jump to my website, and we'll just I had to tell my boss that like he might see updates to like LinkedIn and stuff like that, or my website. I'm not looking for a job, Rufus. I'm not. I'm just showing people how to kind of have everything squared away. So you can see my site, you can see just this quick slideshow, kind of what I'm doing lately, paultranny.com in general. And then you have all these wonderful social media links. So we're going to talk about your social media presence. We're going to build a resume in InDesign. We're going to push it online, which will be cool. We're going to take a look at all these different social media channels that we want to be aware of. And then even develop, like, say, a little word mark or some designer type icon for yourself if you want to as well. Oh yeah, and I have a tie clip that I designed myself, so I'm feeling fancy. Yeah, so here it is. So we could kind of take a look at this. We could actually even take a look at my site. I think this would be kind of fun. And go back to like 2001. You have this Wayback Machine, so you're actually able to see, hopefully, back in 2001. So what is that? 19 years ago. And it requires the Adobe Flash Player, which was really cool at the time. Right? But nonetheless, I'll have to dig up my old website just to show kind of what I was actually talking about back in the day, and what I thought was cool. I don't know if I have uploaded anywhere in 1997. Nope. All right. I wanted to just kind of share with you like my old website that I do not see anywhere. But nonetheless, not a big deal. I just wanted to poke fun at myself was the goal. Okay, hello Afroja, good to have you here. All right, classic Flash website. And it's a bummer it doesn't work, to be honest with you. Like, come on, this is probably all Flash because I spent half my career working on the hot technology at the time. Luckily, HTML5, I would argue that like Adobe did the big push toward HTML5. just so you know. And that's kind of the short of it. So, oh well, we're probably not gonna be able to get to anything in here. So let's move on, shall we? Going back to 2002. See if anything loads. Wait for it. Yeah, not quite. All right, so wait for it. Oh, nothing. All right, so let's close that, and let's jump into this. Because one easy place to start is like with your resume, right? Sort of your job description, right? If you don't have your own website, like I was just showing, you can go to Behance.net, build your own, right? So we can take a look at that. Let's take a look, Behance.net, Paul Tranny. There we are, our special URL. And here we have, again, if you can't afford your own website, guess what? You can make one for free, Behance.net/your name, right? So, oh, I guess this kind of snuck in. Apparently, somebody did a couple people did some daily creative challenges that are now in my portfolio. This is kind of one of those things that I talk about. It's like it does take some cleanup in general, because I actually did not publish this, but I have access to it, right? So I can actually edit this. It looks like something someone else did, and yeah, that's weird. Boy, the things that are on the internet. What is going on here? This is crazy. I had no idea this even existed, and yet it was in my portfolio. But that's what I'm talking about, because what's going to happen is your name's going to come across somebody's desk, and somebody literally asked me this morning, was like, hey, do you know anybody that's hiring an art director? Right? If they're hiring for an art director, whatever the case may be, they're going to go out and they're going to do a search for your name. So you're going to do a search for your name, and you're going to see where you come up everywhere. Right? So like, what holes do you have in here? And do you have anything maybe that you're not that proud of? Say for instance, on Instagram or on Twitter, right? So that's part of the cleanup that we'll talk about. Oh, Monica, is that yours? Monica, you're hilarious. I might remove my name from it just because it's popping up in my portfolio, but it's not that I don't think you're amazing, because this is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love this. Mad scientist. I don't really have green eyes, but also I'm not that devious. that does look like I'm making, that's how my kitchen looks when I cook, basically. So that's not that far off, but that is hilarious. Good stuff. So great job. Ah, love it. Smudge tool. Yeah, that's a good. Everybody's doing their thing, and I'm into it. So good job, Monica, if that is yours. You are too funny. I had no idea. All right, so there's that. By the way, I actually want to kind of kick off my presentation at this point. Right in here, I actually used XD for this because XD is awesome. Getting started as a professional designer, right? So what I think is really cool, by the way, Mia and Tim and everybody, is like, I say design career, like that could be anything. I'm gonna mainly focus on visual/graphic design, right? Logo, brand design, illustration. This is where I typically live. I live right up here, right? That's where I live, right? Howard is more in this spot. User experience design, interface design, right? We get into industrial fashion, but design means lots of things to lots of people. Typically your skills, the fundamentals of design don't change going from one major design field to another, right? I actually know a landscape designer he's such a good designer, right? And he works at a landscape company, right? And he does landscapes because he has an eye for design, and consider him, of course, a designer as well. So it's cool that there's like lots of things you can do, which is why I'm gonna try to keep this broad. Cheer. All right. Hopefully everything's looking good. Cool, everything's good. Fantastic. Two things, and by the way, like, can't emphasize this enough. You basically have two jobs right in here. You need to show that you have this skill, right? So you have to have that portfolio, and then just show that you can get the job done. It's like, hey, Paul, I see that you're a good designer. Can you complete projects on time? Right? That's the big ask. Hey, Paul, your portfolio is awesome. Now here's a project and I need you to get this all done on time, right? And that's what I typically say a college career does for you. Like, yeah, I got a college degree. Essentially that says, hey, I can complete assignments that teachers give me the same way I can complete projects that a boss gives me, right? So you gotta prove that you can get the job done by having job experience at the end of the day, right? And references is kind of like a sort of such a tertiary third type thing. It's just a chance for your friends to brag about you, right? So yeah, those are the two goals. Show you have skill and show you can get those projects done on time. And that's about it. Ooh, let's design stuff. Social media, like I just mentioned, let's like clean it up, right? Clean it up everywhere. Because what they're going to do is they're going to Google your name. And I'm so tempted to Google some people's names in chat, but I will not. If you're looking to be hired as a professional designer, go out there like I just did. Google your name, see what comes up, see if anything embarrassing comes up, like this old picture of me. That's kind of embarrassing. Look at that. What was I thinking? I don't know what that is. But again, it's linked to a lynda.com course that I did years ago. So just be mindful of your social media presence, because once it's out there, you can't pull it back. You just like, there's no way. You can try to bury it, push it down further, but you want to have a good social media presence, as you can see here, because this is the first thing a potential employer will do is they'll Google your name, and hopefully they'll have some of they'll see some of your work and some of the things that you do, right? Cool. All right, I want to see what. Oh, we are all the elements and principles of design in the fabric of nature and life. Very deep, Noor. I also want to give Noor a hand clap. Noor, you were the first one here today, first one to comment, so it's good to have you here. Awesome. So yes, the principles and fundamentals of design definitely do not change. Okay. All right, so you Google yourself, which just sounds weird to say. I get it, right? And then just see ultimately like what's out there. What does need to be cleaned up? What properties do we need to focus on? Just because you're all about Snapchat doesn't mean your employer is, you know? At the end of the day, your employer, chances are, is going to be older than you, maybe even not part of like your generation. They literally might go to Facebook and Google your name. Even though you don't use Facebook, that's probably what they're going to do. So know your audience and clean it up, right? So yeah, there's 1,000 social media. There we go. There's like 1,000 different social media platforms, right? My general thought is just to be everywhere. I can't emphasize this enough, I think, but just be everywhere. Because if you don't have your name, Paul Tranny, when that first social media platform hits, somebody else is gonna grab it and you're gonna be stuck with Paul R. Tranny or whatever the case is. So you need to pick up all those properties and use them, sure, post there, and it could turn into something big. I remember when Twitter first came out, Paul was available, just Paul. And I didn't get it because I thought, oh, that's not specific enough to me. But I just got Paul Tranny, which was silly. Paul would have been awesome. Ugh, killing myself. These are the main ones that I keep track of. Yes, suggestion, clean up everything once a month if you can. For sure, things are dusty, like cobwebs on them. Oh yeah, unless you have a unique name. Thank you, Tim. Good call. And you can also, by the way, and I know people are also on Twitch and other places, you can have a moniker of your own. So you could have a different name. Let's take, for instance, just be aware of it. Take, for instance, Velvet Spectrum, right? One of my favorite people. Velvet Spectrum. I can't even spell. Right, so you can pick a moniker if you want to, and this could be your online presence, right? That's who this is. His real name is Luke Choice, Luke and Morgan Choice, but he's had this for 20 years, and this is what everybody knows him as, right? So consider doing that, but consider that it might easily be with you for 20 years. Not to point out anyone, but like, you know, Jason Levine, he picked Beetlejuice on Twitter, and that's his name. He probably picked it a long time ago, and it's so easy to remember, though. I never have a problem with it. But again, Luke Choice is one of my design idols. Shout out to him. Ultimately, just Velvet Spectrum is what everybody knows him as, and it gives them some anonymity too. Cool. So we've done that. We've Googled our name. We're like, oh, geez, I need to clean up parts. You know, we could take a look at this. We want to be able to go to like YouTube and all those various properties like LinkedIn, right? People largely using LinkedIn to get jobs. So going there and cleaning up and adding to this for sure. But I kind of want to do some designing. Is that okay? Caroline, what are your thoughts on about having separate accounts on Instagram for personal and professional? Yes, for sure. Yes, and Instagram for sure, right? And I've been faulty for this because like that mine's very much kind of like I've been trying to steer it toward professional because this is where a lot of potential employers will look is they'll go out to your Instagram and they'll take a look at it. Ooh, nice. So having a lot of this personal stuff, if I scroll down further, like if it doesn't represent me well, I just need to get rid of it. Like this piece, I never really cared much for it, right? Does it need to be there, right? You can always take those posts, as we can see, and you can either delete it or unembed it. Is that the right word? Basically go through and clean this up as much as you can and have two separate ones if you happen to have that sort of foresight, okay? So that's the one thing you want to do here. Here's one area that I don't have cleaned up. Play, rock, work. I go to one concert and that's 1/4 of my personality is the naked and famous, apparently. So, okay, so let's move on. Let's get into this because I want to design. I was using XD for the slides, which is really fun, right? Really easy to use. We'll go into InDesign. Let's close this file. This is the easiest way to get started, honestly. Anybody can do this. Go File, New, Document. Do we need to start from scratch? Yeah, sure, if you like doing a lot of work, to be honest with you. But what we have, I'm so thankful for these templates being in Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign as well. But we can go into, say, for instance, print, and we could take a look. Oh, look, here's a bordered resume and cover letter that I can work with. Oh, here's another really clean one. Oh, so nice, modern and clean. Right? So I would typically jump in here and use one of these just as a starting point. And again, it doesn't have to be the specific resume. It could be called something else. This is a media kit layout. Well, essentially all a resume is like your media kit. When you send somebody something, that's your media kit for you. You're saying, hey, this is me. So take any one of these templates. Just make sure it's 8.5 by 11 if you're in the US or A1 in the UK and elsewhere, but we can go with this border resume with a cover letter, bam, and we can get started, right? All this stuff is squared away. Yes, thank you, Nora. You can archive them in Instagram. You can archive them on the mobile app, but I just realized you can't do it in the browser. So, Joshua, hello. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, everybody who's joining me from elsewhere as well. So right in here, I can start to take a look at this, of course, change this, and change a lot of this. So this is going to be, a lot of this is going to be synced. Why? Let's save this file to my desktop. We'll call this resume or CV, whatever you want to call it. Let's put it in our design career folder, like so. All right. We have some various placeholders that we can work with. We have graphic elements. We have this first one actually has a cover letter. We can actually skip that and we can jump into the second one. It's up to you. I think it'd be, maybe it's a little, it's kind of up to you if you want to include a picture of yourself. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure you want to do that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but people do have biases. Bias? People are biased in unfortunate ways, right? So again, jump in here. What do we have? Our statement of purpose. I need to open up, have my first one. But right in here, this is ultimately what you want to do. And I see a lot of people do this on also Behance. So Behance has that same thing. If we go into Behance, it's going to have a lot of this same information. So view full resume, right? So this is, oh, this is so ridiculous. So again, a case where I need to kind of clean this up. All right. All right. There we go. So in Behance, this has all of that same basic information. So we have these templates that we can go off of, right? Email address, you can see right there, fine sharing that, but your personal statement. So I'm Adobe Worldwide Evangelist who helps other designers. This is ultimately my mission statement. So right here, this should actually be customized, honestly, for every job that you apply for. So this statement is the one thing I change for every resume. And by the way, I have not interviewed in like 10 years or so. But right in here, you know, you could say visual designer. Helping others make things they love. There we go, just adding that. So that's one thing I have right in here. We can get into the experience. This is all gonna be really straightforward. You don't Carol saw that comment. Awesome. So again, customize this, I can't emphasize that enough, for the job that you're applying for. So if you're gonna be like a junior designer doing production, which honestly, that will be your first job. It's gonna be a production, everybody's different, but it's probably gonna be a production designer job. So it's like, what I would put in here, you know, I would put something more along the lines of designer wanting to contribute in the world of XX. That's another example. So again, you're not looking at taking the boss's job. You want to make everybody better. And at the end of the day, your one job as an employee is to make your boss's job easier, right? You just want to come with solutions rather than any sort of problem is the idea. So again, I'm just in InDesign. You could actually use Illustrator. There are other Illustrator templates out there as well. Ooh, so let's talk about that as well, Mia. So let's get into that. Contact, we get that. Social media, right? This is what we're going to end up with. Oh, some fun things we can do here. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, cool. Let's take a look at let's take a look at a couple of these things. Let's actually go into the experience because all of this is going to be really straightforward. Your big question here, it's like, I haven't worked for a big company yet. Like, what do I put here if I haven't worked for a company? And this kind of comes down to, you know, doing any sort of, yeah, this is a tough one. Because you're gonna need to be honest. So you're gonna have to type in something here that's truthful. So if it's Jamba Juice, it's Jamba Juice, right? That's totally fine, right? I used to work at McDonald's. So my resume back in the past was McDonald's. I was like, I don't know what I would be called. I was like the grill master. Let's turn off that. Yeah, that's right. I worked at McDonald's for ages. Grill master, I did that, and you get the idea. Cool. Okay, so Sean was Pizza Hut. Like, be honest here. This is one thing you actually don't want to do. If you have holes in your resume, you don't necessarily want to highlight this. We don't want to highlight our work experience if it's like just includes, say, McDonald's and, you know, mineral. Sorry, I keep on doing this when I say it. Pool. Lifeguard. There we go. There we go. Mineral Palace Pool. Dates are all wrong. I get it. But not that impressive for a design job. I would take these. I'd get rid of them just like that. Take these and I'd push these down below, right? Especially if you're just starting out. It's like, hey, you know what? These things are not that impressive. Let's move them down, right? And what else can we elevate in its place, right? So you always want to, of course, weigh your resume to your strengths, okay? If you're currently going to school, this is like a great thing to add to present. Skills, references. Let's take a look. Let me jump to the second page. Dream job. Yeah. Wow, Carol, that is fascinating. Okay, so what I would do here, so again, we're back to our resume. Like our experience is looking a little light because you're just getting started out. We want to start to elevate, zoop, these experiences. There they are. I know I can be a little bit more exact. We would have freelance experience, right? Right in here, we don't need that, but we want to put down. Chances are you've done a logo for yourself or for a friend or whatever. So it could be, I don't even know. Carpet. I don't know. What do you want to do here? What would be a good example? Like you work at a church, for instance, or you go to church and you make their, you would just do Vineland Youth Group, for instance. You would do marketing materials. All right, there we go. Just making something up, right? You guys get the idea, a brief description of what you did. One thing I actually do not like about this format, I'm not crazy about the right justified, to be honest with you. But again, we're working in InDesign. We can change this up any way we want, right? So we can come in here and maybe make it justified left, like so, right? So we can modify this any way we want, as you can see. It's totally up to you. In fact, let's take these lines here. These ones can even go like that. And like that. And let's open this up. I also want to point out I love in InDesign, you have this options bar at the top. This might not be showing if you go to Window. If you turn off Control, that's basically what that is. That's your control bar, right? Sometimes it's called your options bar in other apps, but it's this control bar that you might get used to using or might not. It has the same controls as you have over here in Properties. Just like I was adjusting the paragraph, right? Right over here, I can see down here, we can adjust the paragraph as well, right? So if we want to make it centered or left justified, right? So marketing materials. So right in here, this is what you did. It's just, it shouldn't even be this long. It should be like a sentence or so, right? So, and in here, make sure it shows in your portfolio. This is just a reference for you. All right, cool. Here's another little thing you could do. Let us know if you have any questions too. I'm kind of scanning chat right now. Yes, Ariana, catch up. Marsha was a stable hand at an equestrian center in Mallorca. Wow, I want to know everybody's first jobs. Is that okay? Cool. Love InDesign, right? What we're doing is you're starting out as a designer. You want to have that professional career. What can you do? And how can you kind of create an awesome resume that showcases and highlights you as best as possible? Okay, so we'll have these different, let's move this up. And we don't even need to say freelance experience, but I like the word experience. We'll keep that in there. You know, violent youth group, marketing materials. We want to have as many of these as we can get, right? Next one might be something else, right? You get the idea. Ron Training's Carpet and Vinyl. That's also, my dad had a flooring business, and I would do his marketing materials. So there's two already, working with the youth group and then working for my dad's business that I can now put on my resume, right? So again, this is freelance experience. We'll start to stack up. Also right down here, by the way, first job was Red Rooster. Red Rooster, that's a restaurant, right? Flipping burgers at a local ski area. Sarah, good on you. Again, I used to flip burgers at McDonald's. At 15, you were a chicken catcher. Wow, Sean, I'm just finding out so much about everyone. This is really fun. Okay, so have these two. Let's actually throw one more in here. Let's make a little bit of room. Clean this up a little bit. I will do this. This is another fun thing that people do, right? So we have our experience. McDonald's, Mineral Palace Pool, nah, not that great, right? It's like okay. Let's move that up a little bit. Move that up. But wait for it. Let me just trim this up. You know, I'm not going to be too wordy with these, but you want to obviously highlight all the good things that you can do. Let's move this up. Wait for it. Take these three, align them. Oops. There we go. Kind of messed that up. Anyway, selecting these three. Usually most of the controls that I want to do are actually going to be in your properties panel. So just like Illustrator, so check it out. As I scroll down here, alignment tools, because I actually have three things selected. So more than one will actually give me options for actually what's selected, right? So align it like so. We can zoom back out. Right up here, this is where some people will actually have their own freelance company. So after you have had a couple logos sort of under your belt or whatever, you can have your own like freelance LLC, right? So right in here, this is where we'll put down, you know, Eagle. This is what I would do. I don't even remember what mine was. Eagle Eye Creative, and you are the, graphic designer, right? Eagle Eye Creative happens to be your own LLC. So LLC, right? Limited liability company, because you started doing logos for people, right? And you don't want to get sued and you don't want them to take all your stuff, okay? So that's why we have our own freelance company that we can have. And this answers your question. If there's gaps in your career, we want to have this like this kind of filling the gaps is what you can do, right? So this could be 2012 to 2019, right? There's a gap right in here. Here's my experience, ELI, creative graphic designer. You know, it's my own freelance company where I design branding for local companies, just like that. So again, I see that a lot. This kind of fills the space. It's experience because you're doing these different logos for different people, and kind of fills the gap, if you will. All right. So create your own LLC. You can create your own job. Yeah, pretty much. And this is, yeah, yes, exactly. You probably want to do that. And by the way, like, occasionally I'll do some freelance something, and it's not best to do that under my name. I can technically get sued, and the LLC in the US, I don't know how it is elsewhere, will kind of protect you from them taking your house, is the short of it. So that's free to do, right? And the cool thing is all the computers you buy and all that stuff, you can write off under Eagle Eye Creative LLC that you just made. So this is your own graphic designer / owner, right? We're not trying to be anything that we're not. Like, we're not acting like Eagle Eye Creative is all this like huge thing, because they're going to invite you in and be like, who are these guys? Eagle Eye Creative, I've never really heard of them. Oh yeah, it's just me in my basement. Yeah, it is you in your basement, but it's really my freelance company where I design branding for local companies. Keep it that simple. Done and done. So hopefully that kind of helps fill in the space, right? Do I sound bored? I hope I don't sound bored. I do have to think about some of this stuff because I haven't, like, I want to get into some more of this real fast. It's right in here. There was also some questions about education, and that's where I want to jump next. Some employers think that you're unstable due to the gaps. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, and that's honestly why it's good just to put down right in here. If you've even worked at McDonald's or you worked at a pool as a lifeguard, like, show me that you can work someplace and get the job done, right? That's all you're basically doing there. It's like, yeah, I can work for people. If all my stuff is freelance, that could be really good because I'm actually, you just want to be able to show that you can work for somebody else and you can take orders at the end of the day. So finally, my dream job, thanks to the internet. So Neil, is this essentially what you do? You sell jewelry on Etsy, which is awesome because think about it. This is such a low barrier to entry, this career that we're in, right? This field. Essentially, we can get started today. Yes, you hopefully will need Creative Cloud. You could pay for it month by month. By the way, I used to have to shell out like $800 for like the Creative Suite. That's a lot of money. Low barrier to entry now, and then we can try to get the cheapest computer we can, and we can start creating things. We can create things for Etsy. We can start producing things for Society6, for instance. You can make a number of things just as income, right? Another thing I can actually add in here is, I design ties, and then I also design pocket squares with my brother. So that's something I can actually add to this lovely experience right over here, right? Because that's essentially what I'm doing right in here. I think it's Ryan Randall Clothing. This is like me and my brother. And we sell that on Etsy, by the way. So I probably won't tweet it out just because I don't have the URL. I will tomorrow, by the way. I don't even remember what it's called, to be honest with you. My brother takes care of the business side. I just design the stuff. So I'll have to dig that up, but that's a cool thing that you can get started on today. Add that for your experience as part of your resume, which is pretty cool. Yeah, ties, fancy ties like this one. Did you guys like it? I designed this for, I wore this on the Adobe Max stage. I don't know if you guys can even see it, seeing as the lower third is kind of in the way, so let's get that out of here. Right, and it actually even says, Max. Can you see that? M-A-X. It's really kind of tough to see. But in general, like, hey, I'm kind of doing some clothing design. Nobody asked me to. Kind of did it at night, on the weekends, and that sort of thing. So hopefully that helps. All right. I actually do a lot of recruitment things. That's from my experience in HR. Cool. Okay, so social media right in here. Social media links. We can add those all we want. What's best is actually, again, to have, you know, P-Tranny, right? That is my social media handle for Instagram. I would actually clean this up and make it look a little bit more interesting, right? Oftentimes out there are free, or you can go to stock.adobe.com, right? And you can search for social media icons. I'm just going to see what happens. So social media icons. Boom, here we are. Some of these are already licensed, but look, 366 social media app vector icon collection. Look at that, like every icon that you'd ever need that you can use. So that's what I'd encourage you to do. Just with one credit, you can have all these icons. Don't hunt around for every single one of them, spending a half a day. Try to get that one if you could. Guess what? Open that up in Illustrator, right? And here we are in Illustrator with all those icons taken from Adobe Stock. Cool. Oh, thank you, Joe. I'm looking very spiffy. Look at I'm wearing my fake glasses, right? But now I'm in Illustrator, right? So this is what I would do, have my Illustrator icons. I kind of decide if I want to have this in color or black and white. Here's some white versions in here, right? Here's some black versions as well. See? Pretty straightforward, and I can use a number of these any way I want. I personally like the round ones. We can use it to add a little bit of color to our portfolio. In this case, let's go down to Instagram. There it is. All we need to do is copy it, go to InDesign, paste, and there's our lovely graphic. So this is what I would do. I'd kind of shrink that down and make those different icons. And again, you only have to buy one of these. It's not like their logos are changing that much, but here we go. Social media, rounded. Oh yeah, oh, I like these. Black. Let's take a look at these ones. Oh, these are so nice too. Look at this one. I like the black ones. Kind of based on my current resume, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna copy it, and decide I actually wanna use this one instead. So maybe we don't wanna, I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know if I should go with black. I'm kind of thinking I'll go with the black icon, paste that in there, and now we can see, hopefully if it's a designer that's gonna be hiring me is gonna know this icon is what it is, right? Change that. There we are. Cool, there we are. Social media. We want to make sure this is cleaned up if we're going to put a link to it out there, by the way. Okay. All right, so we can take this. Even what we can do in this case, let's take a look at this. Hyperlinks. Check this out. So I would do two things. I would have a printable resume. Okay, so everything is nice and clean. I would probably get rid of this black border because the person hiring you, in case they print it out or in case you print it out, you don't want to waste all this ink. No, on a border? I don't think so. I mean, it looks nice, but still, right? So we can start to take a look at, since this is a template, we can take a look at how this is put together. Right, here we go. Background. There we go. Found it. So this is one thing about the templates is like, since you didn't put it together, you're gonna have to hunt down things. So you could see this background is like so, right? There's my Looks like there's a line back there. How can I not? Let's just turn that off for now. Actually, that's all I want to do. Right there, that is. Just kind of cleaning that up. Right in here, social media. Let's get rid of this dash line. That's kind of dumb. You guys should have told me that looked dumb. All right, let's take this and start to make different versions. So bear with me. I'll jump back out to Illustrator and grab a couple more of these icons. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna link these icons. A PDF with hyperlinks. Yes, exactly. Or we can just publish online. So that's the goal. So by the way, Mia, that's a great call. It does look really good with a border. That's why I turned it off. I thought about deleting it, but I'm gonna have two different versions. I'm gonna have the version that's gonna be the printable version without the black border, and then I'm gonna have this nice black border for the one that I want to use, right? Let's take a look at this layout master. This photo, I need to swap that out. I have so much to do. Let's put my name in here. Let's just do graphic designer, right? There we go, keep it simple. Let's drop in a photo, shall we? Command D. Let's get just a black and white version, shall we? There we go. Done. Done. Oops. Let's save it. There we go. We're looking better now. Cool. All right. Yes, Marsha. Okay. I gotta check and take a look at what I can embed. Interactive. Oh yeah. A number of things we can do here. All right, QR codes, a number of things. So, it doesn't look a thing like me. Admittedly, it's actually probably like 4 years old. Hopefully that looks like me. Does it? I don't know. I just like his is black and white, and that's what I want to go with right now. Worst is when you don't get any replies, just even to tell you why you don't fit or whatever the case is. Okay, good questions. Great stuff. Some companies ask for Word documents. Not sure why. Yeah, you are right. Some companies do. Some companies require them to be in a certain format. I actually have all my career stuff is actually in just a TXT file as well. 'Cause sometimes they just need to search for a certain word, something specific, like technical illustration. Does that person have any experience there? So many ideas running through my head right now, by the way. You gotta slow down and focus on what I'm doing right now. Oops. So, once I get a couple more of these in, we're going to talk some more about the different ways you could submit a resume. Oh, Eddie, you are so kind. You make my day. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And again, as I select each one of these, I want to make sure that I go out to Facebook. Same thing for Instagram. You could have two Instagrams, one personal, one professional, right? You could do the same thing for Facebook, right? You could really have you could have this set to private, right? But you could also have a public-facing Facebook as well. So keep that in mind. Again, it's Paul Ryan Trainee is actually mine here for my professional one. So that's what I want to use when I get to this Facebook version. Over here, paste this in, bam. I would check Facebook. Hey, is it looking good? Yeah, it's looking good. All right, let's drag that over, change this to Paul Ryan Trainee, right? We want to let them know that we're not hiding anything. This is the thing that bothers me, is actually somebody else has Paul Trainee on Instagram. So I am not the same thing everywhere, which is such a bummer, right? And they won't even sell it to me. Okay, so we need to actually compare. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can. Nope. All right, so basically I'm checking the size. It's about, we'll lock this down and we'll just do 14 point because it's gonna make everybody much happier knowing that these are all 14 point and not some weird number, right? Boom, boom, all these are the same size, easy enough, right? You know how to enter and sort of edit text fields. All right. Do you think it's actually helpful to have your photo on your resume? Is it more of a personal design choice? Very interesting. Like I'm actually not sure. People have a lot of biases. So if you put a picture of yourself, there's a chance that they'd be like, you know what? I don't like this white boy. I don't like how he looks. They're gonna have their own biases potentially based on your photo. And you know, you can't discriminate when it comes to you know, of course, race, ethnicity, sex, any of that stuff. So that's totally up to you, right? It's totally personal call on your part. Let's move these down. I don't have these lined up correctly. There we go. Line it up, move it down a touch, maybe not. And then let's get one more in here. All these boxes are not quite the same size. I should probably change that as well. But let's go ahead and we'll just grab one more and then we'll move on. I have about 40 more minutes and 2 coffees to drink. Exactly, Ravi. Not a good idea to put a black border on the print version. I love it, right? So that's why we're gonna have our online version that's gonna have all that online goodness. And then we're going to have a print version, very simple, very clean, doesn't take up a lot of ink, right? All that fun stuff. Hello there, my friend Mahmood from London. If you are just joining me, feel free to say hello. Want to welcome you today. We got a full day of awesome stuff going on. From top-notch designers right after me is Kathleen doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. Why do we have those? Hey, to load up your resume full of awesome stuff. That is the idea and the purpose of those daily creative challenges, to get you better and maybe roll that into portfolio. Okay, copy paste. These boxes kind of driving me nuts. And let's check it, because actually I don't know when it comes to, actually let's do this. Paul Ryan Tranny, that looks good. Instagram, P Tranny. Here's your URL, by the way. So we always want to double check those as well. Bam, there it is, right? We'll keep those up because we're going to be able to link to those in our resume. P, T-R-A-N-I. Okay, that looks good. Is there a weird line there? Something that I'm missing? I would have to check it. All right. How's everyone doing? Sorry, I got a little quiet there. Yeah, art does not like. I could tell Art Create doesn't like showing their face, because even your little icon out there, is just the default one, you know. All right, cool. I really have to fix this. These are kind of driving me nuts. And again, since I didn't build this one out, I'm just taking a look at it, checking the alignment of everything right up here. Yeah, no text wrap. That's aligned to the bottom, middle top. Cool. Hey, it's always ask questions. There are definitely no No dumb questions in here. So I got them on, I think Adobe Stock. Oh, it's driving me crazy. Something weird going on here, but we will leave that alone. Pretend like those are aligned, okay? I'll bust out my rulers and align it later, but I can take these elements. Let's actually group these. For these elements, I'm going to go to hyperlinks, new hyperlink, right? Like so. So right in here, that's where we're going to go out to Instagram. This is my shameless plug for not only Velvet Spectrum, but I don't want to be linking to his stuff when I need to paste in my URL. So there it is, copying that like so, drop it in, boom. All right, click OK. There it is. I could put an underline under it so they know that it's clickable. You always like your text boxes. Like there's something very weird going on in here and I can't figure out what it is, to be honest with you. Something very weird. But again, I'm just going to group these. Group, take both those elements and create a hyperlink, right? So this is what we're doing for our online version. So right out here, Twitter, shameless plug, twitter.com/Paul Tranny. What's out here? We want to make sure this stuff is all like cleaned up and looking pretty and there's nothing too, political or anything too crazy going on out here, right? Everything looks good. We checked it. We pasted it in. Click OK. There it is. Let's save this file. Right. There it is. It's looking good. And here's something that we can try. Check this out. By the way, it does have the black border, so this is the online version. We could save out a PDF. By the way, if you make this a document cloud PDF, you'll be able to tell when somebody opens it. Wouldn't it be really cool to know if somebody actually opened up your resume? Somebody said, oh, maybe, I don't know if they ever even looked at my resume. I never heard back. You could at least tell if they opened that particular file. So I can show you how to do that as well. But first off, we'll go to, and actually let's just, I really want to kind of delete these other pages. I could. I haven't really cleaned this up at all. What is it? Junior graphic designer position, whatever the case may be. Right, there it is. There's 2 of the pages. These are just a couple different ones. So let's just delete that one. Now we have our 2 pages. And now we will save it. Let's publish online. Right, and now we could just send them a link, right? I'd do Paul Tranny resume. There we go. We're going to export it out as a single page. We can allow people to download it. We can hide the share and embed options in that document because maybe we don't want them to. But honestly, I'd make this as easy as possible. Right? It's going to be published as a new document. Right in here, we are obviously showing the first page, but we can also choose an image as well. So this will be the cover thumbnail that we can actually load in there as well. So this could actually be maybe it is a picture of you or whatever the case may be. So choosing that image, standard, everything, right? JPEG quality high, click publish. We can create that link. That's all we did. This is just one way of doing things, right? Publishing online directly from InDesign. All right. Yeah, okay, and Mia, just so you know, I just kind of read your comment about like you're kind of making it a complete career change. I know in the US, people I think on average change their careers like 3 times in their lifetime. So people are always expecting, like even as you get older, to have like a reset, just so you know. So that's like, it's not uncommon. Don't think that you're odd or whatever. Just kind of be aware of that. It's like people, yeah, people change their careers and there's nothing wrong with it. There we are. Paul Tranny Jr., graphic designer, position, right? Next up, we could see this. Here's our social media links, by the way. We can always zoom in. There we go. We can click, and now we can jump out to Instagram and places like that. Okay, cool. So we have these linkable. That looks pretty nice. I would probably make this more Paul-like, and I would make it multicolored and beautiful and all that fun stuff. But what I'll do right now is I'll just kind of post this to chat and welcome everybody that's joining me from elsewhere. Jump over to behance.net/Adobe Live if you could. Cool. Okay, great point. Okay, so let me take a look at this. Let's go in here. We shared it. We can share it on social networks. Not a big deal, but we have this publish online dashboard. So this will show me all the documents that I've published online. We can see a number of them right in here. Here's my resume when it was originally published, and click right in here. We can get the publication analytics. There's not going to be really anything in there because like I just created it, right? I should look at some of the other ones. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll look at the California Mag. Oh yeah. Oh, can I take these glasses off now? They're not real anyway. They're just fake. They're just props. Because what am I doing? I'm playing the part of a designer. It's like, oh, let's put on the cool glasses. Right? Okay, let's go over here to this California Mag. Come on. Load up those analytics. And show us what you got. While that does that thing, we can jump over and work on some other stuff. All right. Let's close that. From here on out, basically, this is what I love about online documents, is I can go in and I can always go into publish online and I can update the existing document. Because if you happen to send out that link and you realize you misspelled something, which I do all the time, sneakily go in there, republish it. What? Nobody has to know. It's like, oh, I misspelled my name. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Okay. Right in here, of course, we want to make our print version. Let's turn off that black background. We want to go to high quality print, PDF, desktop. There we are. Exporting out this high quality print. Nothing too special in here, right? So let's export out a PDF. You probably all know how to do that. Okay, let's actually do one more. Let's share for review. You ready for this? Remember how I mentioned that imagine if you could tell when somebody opened a file. We get a share for review, right? This is, so right in here, share a preview of your artwork is what you typically do, and then they can provide feedback. So that's awesome that you can do this in InDesign and actually see that content later on. So right in here, Paul Tranny, resume. Again, a lot of times this is already, like if you're doing print jobs, this helps kind of get all that feedback in just a really sort of frictionless way, I would say, right? Because we could actually load those comments back in. There we are. Here is the link. Let's click right here. This is a document cloud, okay, asset is what this is now. So this is different. Look, like, oh, there we go. So first off, you could see my stats. I could see that nobody's viewed this because I probably never shared it. But you have those stats when you publish something out, which is really cool. It's like, wait. And honestly, I guarantee, chances are, like, art directors don't even know about this. Like, this is something that a company can use. Imagine if you go in with a resume that actually shows things and maybe technology that the art director isn't aware of, right? But right in here, here's the resume, views on device. I'm able to see all that content. I can't tell who viewed it because they haven't logged in, but I do have that data. Let's go to this document cloud version right in here. Yeah, so this is being shared for review, where you can make comments and all that fun stuff. So again, you can send this link or you can send this one. I kind of am leaning toward this one right now, just to be honest with you. This is much cleaner, as you can see. And then you have this like share for review version. All right. Viewer does not need an Adobe account. In fact, I will take this just to prove my point. I'll paste this in there. And that second link is it should be basically a document cloud file, but let's go and launch Acrobat. All right, here we go. You ready for this? Let's get files on my desktop. Let's grab this resume. Remember, this is technically the print one, right? But let's just open that up. Here it is. I'm now in Adobe Acrobat DC, and I know we're covering a lot here, but here we go. You can send files for viewing or review, and you can track and manage the responses right in Acrobat. Again, not necessarily made for resumes, but since I kind of had this thought of, you know what, maybe I could share it with someone, sort of entering in their name or email at adobe.com. Let's do that, right? Allow comments. You could actually add a deadline, right? If this was some sort of contract, publish that out. Obviously, I got to change some permissions. But now I can go ahead and send this to somebody for them to view. And when they open it, I'll be able to see like when they opened it. So let's click view. There we go. Copy shared link. Let's go in here to a browser window, pasting, and this is a Adobe Acrobat PDF, loaded that PDF, shared it from PDF, and now we have these various properties, which should be able to tell me, and I'm sorry I'm not seeing it right away. I might have to actually open this back up in here. Let's click done. Just pretend like I shared it. And let's just, maybe I'll grab another file if you don't mind. Cancel. Yeah, let's go back. Yeah. Let me actually I'm trying to load up the current file. And I don't see it right here. So anyways, does that make sense? Yeah. I'm learning something new every day, by the way. So it's been like 8 months since I've done this. So I'm sorry if I'm getting a little lost. It can be a little confusing, but Document Cloud usually allows for tracking of files. So you take this, we can create a PDF. Let's just create a PDF from that. It's already a PDF. Let's open this up and go in here. Here's Adobe Sign. I can specify people to sign it. I don't want to do that. I actually want to show how to share it. Close. There we go. So basically I shared it with others. Whatever file that is, that'll get shared with others and done. Okay, cool. All right. Besides resume, portfolio, website, what if you don't have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook when it closes? Will it close lots of doors? So will not having a social media presence close doors? Two things. The short of it is, like, That's a good question. This is the thing about that. It depends on, Tim, welcome back. If you don't have a social media presence anywhere, is that going to hurt you? Okay. One, it shows you that you don't know how to use those platforms. And honestly, if you're applying for like a graphic design job, chances are, if it depends on the place. If it's a small company, you could be the designer and the social media manager. You know, especially your first job out, you might be taking on multiple roles if you're working for a small company. So having knowledge of social media, where your artwork is going to get pushed out to, is going to give you a leg up. So I would say yes, have a social media presence if you can. Get all those various properties just so you're aware of how they work, right? Worst case scenario is don't have anything out there that's just bad, makes you look bad. Some Facebook, something ridiculous, right? But two, use it to your advantage to showcase your work and to show that you know how to use social media to add that to your resume. That doesn't cost you a thing. Nobody had to hire you to create your own social media presence. So that's what I would do. Right, so that's what they're going to do. A lot of people, everybody's using their different media platforms, right? They'll go to LinkedIn and search for your name there, and they'll see who you know and what you have in here. And even down here, this is why I think people really like LinkedIn as well, is the different endorsements that people can do for you. So go ahead, fill out LinkedIn, right? It's literally fill in the blanks. And then what you want to do is you want to be able to have people endorse you through LinkedIn. Again, free things you can do to potentially get a job. Okay. All right. Hopefully that works, Michelle. I would say be everywhere. That's my big thing. If I go back to the slides, right? We ultimately want to be everywhere, like it says right here, right? Even just to have that social media presence to use it, but you know, you don't want to miss out on it ultimately. You're going to decide which ones are going to be the most beneficial to you, such as Behance, right? We'll get into making a Behance portfolio. We'll do a lot of that tomorrow as well. And then what we want to do is, like, you're not going to know what to share. Well, you want to be able to share your knowledge. Whatever you know, I would encourage people to live stream, right? Show your process, show where you're at in your career. That's the best thing that you can do, is if they can go search on your name, right? They'll go out here, they'll search on your name, and then they might even go, oh, videos. Is there anything that Paul has done that can maybe give me an idea of who they are? Consider these little video interviews, because they're going to check on these and be like, oh, okay, this person has done some live streaming on Behance, which is awesome. Okay, so hopefully people get whitelisted for that. Start live streaming. Just kind of show what you know. Even if you don't know it, learn it, and then turn around and live stream about it, right? Okay. Yes, exactly, Noor. Awesome. Good advice. Google yourself to see what recruiters will find on you, because they're going to Google you on LinkedIn. They're going to Google you on the web, right? And what is out here, right? We want that content to be highly polished, like on Behance, right? We want to go out here, and I'll just create a couple pieces. So right up here, we'll go to my profile, create a profile, super easy. Oops, sorry, wrong one. I actually happen to have two here, but that's a whole other situation, right? Have a personal one, have a professional social media account as well. So you can have a private Facebook, make sure it's locked down to private, make sure all those posts are private if that's what you want. And then make sure you have a professional one of stuff that needs to be seen. All right, I'm gonna switch screens because I don't want you to see this, but I also wanted to share the schedule. So it's a perfect time to do that. I have 10 minutes. There. And there we go. Kathleen will be up next. We got some photo retouching. All these Illustrator, these Photoshop, XD daily creative challenges are just a chance to build your portfolio and get some work. Why not, huh? Let's switch back, shall we? Here we are, we're back. Behance, let's go to profile, right? Right in here, had a couple of issues, but right in here we can edit your profile. Click edit. You want to just fill in the blanks, right? This is everything that we entered into InDesign already. Come down here, your different social media platforms, it's all fill in the blank. We get into work experience, jump in and start editing this content as well. Keep in mind, yes, this could always say, right down here, let's scroll down, add work experience, pop. Right there, right in here, company organization. So this is Paul, Paul Tranny LLC, right? Or whatever your LLC is, or whatever. Envision Design Group. I think I had an LLC once that was like Design Group, and it was just me. But it's funny, right? Hopefully have a website URL for that. Drop that in and start to build out your portfolio, right? But be honest with your employer as well. So we get that filled out. If you have education, drop that in here. We've got Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. We could view that resume. So this is what this resume looks like, and then we have our InDesign version right over here, right? So InDesign, and then our Behance one as well. There we are. Cool. This is huge. I love seeing somebody's personal statement. I just think that's really cool. All right. MySpace. Yeah, get your MySpace account. Get it before it's gone. Oh, that's funny. Sean's videos are all chat on Adobe Live. Oh, you know what, Sean? By the way, that is awesome. What that shows is that like you are connected to the designing community and you're actually learning from others. I would say that's a huge plus. Showing just like all your chat. Hopefully your chat is legit and I'm sure you're nice, but that's an awesome thing to do. Like that just shows that you're learning. That's huge, right? We'll go back to profile. Let's say we created some artwork, and I'm going to jump into Photoshop really fast because I have this piece that I'm working on. So again, this could be part of a daily creative challenge. I've done something like this before. Here I'm in Photoshop. I'm kind of cleaning it up and doing some of these last touch-ups. This gets a little too, right in here, this gets a little too blue. That's the color I'm looking for, the name I'm looking for, right? Because I have this underwater landscape right there. It's kind of making it a little too red hot. So let's just add an adjustment layer. I'm just do this really fast. Let's do hue and saturation, and let's have this hue and saturation just affect this layer right here. Bam, like that. There it is, just affecting it. We'll take that saturation down. So that's what I'm doing, just controlling that saturation, but I'm just dropping it down a little bit, okay, like that. Also, for this layer, I want to add another just hue and saturation. So looks like I need to kind of knock down the saturation on this background layer as well. So this is the background. Here's my hue and saturation there. This time, if I drop down the saturation, it's going to drop it down for everything, which doesn't look that good, right? So right in here, could kind of remove some of that. But ultimately, on this hue and saturation layer right here, I want to paint on it, right? In fact, what I can do, I can select that layer mask, fill it in with black, right? So now it's hiding that layer mask, that hue and saturation is hiding that adjustment layer, right? It's hiding it completely. But if I hit B for brush and start painting with white, it's like I'm painting with, let's take this flow down. I'm painting with black and white. So I'm just kind of knocking down that color a little bit like so, okay? So again, this is gonna be a portfolio piece. Hope you guys don't mind these fun little tips that I'm showing you, because I'm making this portfolio piece to ultimately post in my Behance as a project, right? You're not in the Photoshop stream is a quick transition, because what we're doing is we're working on our portfolio right in here. Guess what? I'm going to create a project. So that's ultimately what I'm doing. Right in here, we'll create a text. We'll say whales in the sky. Why not? Selecting this. Let's make this a header. And below that, did this project for fun, basically. Don't just say did this project, lame. Did this project created in Photoshop as part of a Photoshop daily creative challenge, or wanted to challenge myself. Here's another thing. Wanted to challenge myself in Photoshop, whatever your purpose of doing this. You get the idea. Down below, that's where we're going to put this image. I'm going to actually splash a little light on here. Bam! Let's put a little light up top. Shh. Right there, just painting on that mask. I have this lovely gold. Ultimately, I would paint this gold right on top of that. Like, it should be hitting this whale a little bit is what I would actually add. Let's go new layer. Bam! Clipping mask. B for brush. Actually, let's go I to sample that lovely gold color like that. And we can paint. I'm actually painting with this. The color, right, that I just sampled there. And then I'm going to change the blend mode, right? So as I go through, I can kind of change the blend mode because ultimately I just want like a little like highlight. And I'm just seeing if this works. This might not work. I'm rolling through these different blend modes to see if this will just kind of make it blend in a little bit without me doing any work because I don't have a lot of time. I'm being lazy is what I'm saying, right? Okay, darker color kind of works there. All in all, it's okay. Let's crank it up. Let's do something a little bit more intense. There we go. It's just a splash of gold right there. And then let's kind of move on. Just want to create a little highlight there. Okay, there we go. All right, you get the idea. Just threw a little bit of that in there. Done. I can share this on Behance. There's this link directly from Photoshop, right? All it really does is open up Behance. So really your best bet is just export. You could do a save for web because you want to be mindful of the size. This is really huge. We'll change this to 2000 in width. Save this to my desktop. Bam, bam. And this is our first like portfolio piece, if you will, out here that we're going to load up right in here. Okay, so right in here, bam, insert media, and there's the whale in the sky. Cool. All right, so by the way, this is a very common concept. I've done this like plenty of times, right? There's actually an Adobe tutorial on, actually let's not do a photo grid. Delete that grid, on doing this sort of treatment. Because again, I'll go out here. Let's just grab a couple more. I think I have another cool one in here maybe. Here's another one, right? I love this one. Spend a little more time on it, right? This version's awesome. But like that, selecting there, and now we have a couple different versions, as you can see, for this portfolio, okay? Wanted to challenge myself in Photoshop and mix things that by in Photoshop. There we are. Boom. Done. Right. Fix that formatting. Try not to have this widow, right? That's not a good idea. Right, we could take that down to like 15 if I want to. And by the way, we want to go to continue. Whale. Give it a good name. Give it project tags. Visual design. And you get the idea. What did we use? Adobe Photoshop. Which is also your daily creative challenge coming up next. What do we have in here? I'd call this graphic. Let's just check those three. We want to have 3. And you could always edit that cover image. I think that looks good. I'm going to click publish. And now we've created sort of our first portfolio piece as part of our artwork. Again, I just did this as an example. So that's something that I personally would do is just go in. You could always edit this later. The cool thing here is you can, let's go into settings. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Let's cancel out of this. It's showing how to make a project in Behance. There we go. That's really what I wanted to do. Update project. You can unpublish projects as well. So if I go back out here, we can see my profile. I'm about a minute out before I'm done. So here's this piece. Even this one right here, I want to unpublish. I want to just remove this one because that's what somebody else added me to that. And it's not really, I didn't do it, right? That's none of my work. Removing some of those, maybe removing or unpublishing. So you could always jump in. I am looking at this later on. I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, I do not like it, right? You can unpublish. Just show your best work. We'll get into more portfolio fundamentals later on, but you can see this latest project, Whale in the Sky, right there. Okay, so again, this is all kind of how to be a professional designer. The end of the day, whoever's hiring you, it needs to be you, me, same. You're a designer, I'm a designer, we're the same person. Have all those similarities with the person that's hiring you. And not only don't have something scary when they Google your name, but also have some really good positive stuff, even if it is just Adobe Live comments, because that's a good thing as well. Cool. Yeah, maybe we will see whales in the sky sometime. But that's all I have for you today. Tomorrow we'll get more into building out a portfolio and ultimately making an Adobe portfolio website. Because this is professional, sure, but it's not the same as having your own website. So that is our goal for tomorrow. Should be awesome. Thanks so much for watching. You have Kathleen up next. I love her. I'm gonna get this tie off. Ugh, it's choking me. Slowly choking me, but thanks for watching, everybody. Looking out, I'm thinking of you guys. I really appreciate you and everything. Just be safe out there. Go brush your teeth too. I know you didn't today. Just joking. Have a good one, and I'll leave you with the schedule. Thanks so much, everyone.